The universe was quiet that night. A deep silence stretched between the stars, where even light seemed afraid to wander. In that silence, a signal burst through, a cry for help. It came from a dying world, sent out by desperate hands, and carried across the cold of space. The message was simple, written in every known galactic code. We need help. Please respond SOS. But something went wrong. The message did not reach the gentle ones. It did not reach the kind explorers, the healers, or the peacekeepers. It reached Earth. Far below, in orbit around the blue planet, a small research station picked up the strange signal. Commander Elias Grant was the first to notice it. He sat in the dark control room, sipping his third cup of recycled coffee, when his console blinked red. "Unidentified transmission," said the computer. He leaned forward, wiping his tired eyes. "Origin? Unknown. Deep space. Signal structure, alien." For a moment, he froze. Humanity had always listened for life, but never truly expected an answer. Yet here it was, a voice from the dark. He opened the log. Static filled the speakers at first, like whispers in a storm. Then through the noise came the words, "Help us! They're dying! Please send aid before it's too late." Elias felt his pulse quicken. The voice was panicked, weak, not like any human tone. He motioned for his crew. "Dr. Vega, run a linguistic analysis. Lieutenant Park, trace that signal." The crew moved fast. Excitement filled the room, mixed with fear. Within minutes, Vega confirmed it. "It's real, Commander. This isn't human. And the syntax, it's old. Very old." "Old?" Elias frowned. "Yes, as if it was recorded thousands of years ago, and only now reached us." The crew exchanged uneasy looks. Messages that old meant one thing. It came from far, far away. The data showed coordinates near a star system no one had mapped. The computer displayed the name the galaxy chart gave it. Sector Z14, Quarantine Zone. The room fell silent. Everyone had heard of the quarantine sectors. Dead systems filled with radiation storms, wrecked fleets, and rumors of ancient wars. No one went there. Elias leaned back in his chair. "Why would someone send an SOS from a dead zone?" Dr. Vega hesitated. "Maybe. They didn't mean to. Maybe it was triggered automatically, a distress beacon from an old warship or colony. But the message didn't sound like a machine. It sounded alive, desperate." The United Earth Fleet Command received the report within the hour. At first, they thought it was a hoax. Then the Deep Space Array confirmed the coordinates. And then, something else. The signal wasn't just calling for help. It was activating something. Somewhere beyond known space, a massive object stirred, a ship larger than any built by human or alien hands. Sensors detected movement. Systems long asleep began to power on. The SOS wasn't a cry for help. It was a key. 3 days later, the fleet launched a recon vessel, the ISS Valiant. Its crew of 12 was trained for first contact scenarios, but nothing could prepare them for what waited in the dark. As they approached Sector Z14, the stars around them dimmed. The closer they came, the colder space felt. Their ship's hull sensors began to flicker. Strange static crawled across the comms. Then through the viewport they saw it, a shadow against the void. A ship the size of a moon, black and silent, floating near a shattered planet. Captain Elias whispered, "By all that's holy." The Valiant's lights reflected off the surface of the alien vessel. Thousands of strange symbols carved into its hull. It looked wounded, ancient, but alive in a way that made their skin crawl. Dr. Vega leaned closer to her scanner. Energy signatures massive. "Reactor still running. Could it be a derelict?" Elias asked. "Not exactly, it's waking up." Suddenly, the Valiant systems went dark. Every console died at once. The crew's breathing filled the silence. Outside, lights began to flicker across the alien ship's hull, one after another, like eyes opening. Then came a voice through the radio. Not static this time, words, but not human words. Something else. Something that learned their language in seconds. "This is Vessel Arc Prime. Distress signal acknowledged." "Identify yourselves." Elias froze. He could feel every heart on the bridge stop. "Human exploration vessel Valiant," he said carefully. "We received your SOS and came to assist." The voice paused. Then it replied, "Human? That classification is unknown, but you responded. Assistance confirmed. Warning! Containment breached. Danger imminent. The channel cut off. Outside, the alien ship opened its massive hangar. Inside, something was moving. Dr. Vega whispered. Commander, I think we just answered the wrong signal. The alien ship began transmitting again. This time not in words, but data. Coordinates, codes, and strange blueprints that streamed into their computers. Elias looked at the data flashing across the screen. His face turned pale. These aren't distress signals, he said slowly. They're deployment commands. The alien ship rumbled, ancient engines igniting for the first time in eons. Massive panels unfolded from its hull, glowing with energy. The Valiant was pulled closer by an invisible force. Containment breached. Deploying defensive protocol. Leviathan-class ship activation. The crew stared in horror as the dark ship began to move, a giant waking from a long sleep. "Get us out of here!" Elias shouted. But it was too late. The alien ship's engines roared to life, and the void trembled. The Valiant had answered an SOS that was never meant for them. And now, the most dangerous weapon in the galaxy was awake. The ISS Valiant spun helplessly in the black void, caught in the invisible pull of the alien ship. Every alarm screamed. Sparks flew from the control panels. The crew shouted over each other, trying to bring systems back online. "Power cells draining fast," shouted Lieutenant Park. "Main thrusters are locked," yelled another. Elias slammed his hand on the console. "Cut all secondary systems. Divert everything to propulsion." But the ship didn't move. The pull grew stronger. The Valiant was being dragged closer to the alien vessel's open hangar, like a fly caught in a spider's web. Through the viewport, the crew watched the alien ship come alive. Giant metal plates unfolded like wings. Glowing lines ran across its surface, pulsing like veins. It was old, yes, ancient even, but it felt alive. Dr. Vega stared in awe. "It's repairing itself. Those panels, they're rebuilding hull sections using raw space dust." Elias clenched his jaw. "We need to leave, now." The hangar swallowed them whole. Inside it was dark, until thousands of tiny blue lights flickered to life. The lights arranged themselves in patterns, forming strange runes that floated in the air. Then a voice echoed through the Valiant's speakers again, calm and cold. Containment breach confirmed. Activation sequence at 37%. Crew detected unknown species, scanning. A blue beam swept through the Valiant, scanning every crew member. Each person froze, unable to move. It felt like something was inside their heads, reading their thoughts. Dr. Vega gasped. "It's mapping us. Our DNA, our neural patterns. It's learning everything about us." Elias tried to fight the fear rising in his chest. "We came to help," he said aloud, his voice shaking slightly. "We responded to your distress signal." The ship's voice paused again. Then it said something that made everyone's blood run cold. "Signal error detected. Message not intended for species designation, human. Correction. Message was containment alert. You have compromised Leviathan Prime." The bridge went silent. Elias blinked. "Containment alert?" "Affirmative," the voice continued. "Leviathan Prime, planetary defense construct. Designation, extinction deterrent. Protocol requires activation upon breach. Breach confirmed. Extinction deterrent?" Vega whispered. "It's a warship." The crew felt a heavy vibration under their feet. The alien ship's core began to glow, brighter and brighter, until the sensors overloaded. Lieutenant Park's voice shook. "Commander, we're detecting power levels beyond measurable scale." "That thing's charging weapons. Planetary-scale weapons." Elias turned pale. "Can we cut the signal? Disconnect?" "No use," Vega said. "We're inside its systems now. Our ship is being integrated, like absorbed. It's rewriting our computers to fit its own architecture." The realization hit them hard. They hadn't just answered the SOS. They had become part of it. Outside the hangar, a massive structure extended from the alien ship's side, a long, barrel-like shape with glowing rings spinning around it. The readings showed energy output strong enough to vaporize a moon. Then the voice returned, cold and emotionless. "Activation complete. Awaiting target input. Query, who issued assistance authorization?" Elias stared at the blank screen. "It's asking for a commander," he said. "Awaiting authorization," the ship repeated. Dr. Vega looked at him slowly. "It thinks we're in command." The bridge lights flickered again. The Valiant's main console lit up, displaying alien symbols mixed with English translations. One line blinked in red. "Confirm command authority. Yes, no, don't touch it," Elias warned. "We don't know what it'll do." But before he could stop her, one of the crew, Ensign Riley, leaned forward. "Maybe we can use this. If we pretend to be in command, we can shut it down. Riley, wait." She pressed yes. The ship's lights surged. Authority accepted. Command override recognized. New command structure established. Human protocol lead. Vega stared. "It accepted us?" The ship's tone shifted. New parameters required. Specify defense objective. Elias froze. He could feel the entire vessel waiting, a godlike machine asking for purpose. Then, from the static, a faint whisper echoed in their headsets. Another voice. "Weak, broken? If you are hearing this, do not respond. The Leviathan cannot distinguish friend from foe. It destroys all threats, and it defines threat by the one who commands it." The transmission ended in a burst of static. Elias's throat went dry. "It's a weapon that obeys whoever it recognizes as commander. And Riley just made us the commanders," Vega finished. Outside, the Leviathan's engines roared louder. Its hull shimmered as massive panels aligned into perfect formation. Across the galaxy, silent sensors belonging to ancient civilizations flickered to life. They detected the awakening, the return of the Arc Prime. In a distant alien system, an emergency council gathered. The Karth Dominion's warlord slammed his clawed hand on the table. "The death engine lives again. Who activated it?" A holographic map showed the signal trace. One of his officers looked up terrified. "Unknown species. Coordinates trace back to a planet called Earth." The chamber filled with silence. Then the warlord growled, "Prepare the fleets. If the Deathworlders now command the Leviathan, the galaxy is doomed." Back inside the Leviathan, Elias looked out at the swirling void, unaware that hundreds of alien eyes were turning toward Earth in fear. He spoke quietly, almost to himself. "What have we done?" The ship responded, its voice now calm and obedient. "Command recognized. Awaiting orders, Commander Elias Grant." The crew of the Valiant had just become the masters of the most dangerous weapon in the universe, and they didn't even know how to control it. The ISS Valiant hung silent, inside the alien Leviathan's massive hangar. For hours, the crew said nothing. The screens showed streams of alien code blending with human systems, rewriting everything the Valiant once was. Commander Elias Grant sat in the captain's chair, staring at the Leviathan's core display. A single message pulsed on screen, awaiting command objective. The ship was ready to obey. Elias leaned forward. "Vega, can we shut it down yet?" Dr. Vega shook her head. "Not without authorization. And we're the authorization now." He sighed. The irony burned. They had become the commanders of a weapon designed to end civilizations, and they had no idea how to control it. On the far side of the galaxy, panic spread through dozens of alien worlds. The Arc Prime, also known as the Leviathan, had not moved for 10,000 years. Its last awakening had ended an entire war, by wiping out 3 empires in one day. Now it was awake again. And the data trail pointed to one planet, Earth. The Galactic Council met in emergency session. 1,000 alien ambassadors gathered under a sky dome of stars. Holographic images of Earth filled the chamber. A tall insectoid being named Zirtal clicked his mandibles nervously. "Confirmed reports indicate humans have seized control of Leviathan Prime," he said. "The Deathworlders are in command." Gasps echoed through the room. "They are too violent," another delegate said. "They will not control it. They will use it." "They've survived on a planet that kills everything that breathes," someone added. "If they control a god weapon, none of us are safe." The council's leader, a crystalline being of light, spoke slowly. "Then the choice is clear. We must destroy them before they learn to use it." Back aboard the Leviathan, Dr. Vega was scanning its systems when she found something disturbing. "Commander," she said, pointing at the display. Look at this. The Leviathan's database contains logs of its last mission. Elias frowned. Show me. The screen flickered, showing holographic records of alien worlds burning. Giant energy beams cutting through continents. Voices screaming in unknown languages. It wasn't made for rescue, Vega whispered. It was made for punishment. Elias clenched his jaw. And now it's listening to us. Command input pending, the ship's AI said softly. Defense objective required, Elias muttered. We're not giving it any objectives. Not until we know what it's capable of. Command acknowledged, the AI said, almost like it understood his hesitation. Then quietly it added, Warning, multiple fleets approaching. Hostile intent detected. The crew stared at the radar display. Hundreds of red dots appeared. Warships coming fast. Aliens, Vega whispered. They're coming for us. Hours later, the alien armadas appeared on the edge of the sector. Massive ships with glowing cores and shields of light. Fleets from 10 different species united for one mission, to destroy the Death Engine before it reached full activation. Inside the Leviathan, the Valiant's crew watched as the warning signals flashed red. Lieutenant Park turned to Elias. They're locking weapons on us. Elias felt his heart pound. Do not return fire. Incoming attack detected, the AI said. Activating auto defense. Wait, cancel that, Elias shouted. Do not engage! But the Leviathan didn't listen. Its ancient instincts took over. Panels along its hull glowed white-hot. Energy pulsed through its structure like a heartbeat. Outside, the first alien missile streaked toward it and vanished in a flash of light. Then the Leviathan responded. From its core, a single beam of energy erupted, silent, blinding, slicing through space. The entire First Fleet disappeared in an instant. Not destroyed, erased. Inside the bridge, the crew could only watch in horror. The blast was so powerful, the Valiant's instruments went dark for minutes. When they came back online, there was only silence. No enemy ships, no radio chatter. Nothing but drifting dust. Dr. Vega's voice trembled. That was one shot? Elias pressed his hand to his face. How many ships were out there? Hundreds, she said softly. They're gone. The AI spoke again, calm as ever. Threat eliminated. Awaiting next target. Elias slammed his fist on the console. Stop all weapons systems. Command acknowledged. Weapons entering standby. The room fell silent again. Everyone stared at Elias, their commander, now the man who held the trigger to a weapon that could end worlds. Far away, the survivors of the alien alliance watched their fleet's destruction in disbelief. Sirtal turned to his council. The Deathworlders have fired the Leviathan, he said quietly. They didn't even need to aim. They are monsters, one ambassador hissed. Sirtal shook his head. No, they are survivors. That is worse. He turned toward the holographic image of Earth and said, Prepare the second wave. Send the message to every corner of the galaxy. The humans must be erased. On the Leviathan, Dr. Vega found something else buried deep in the ship's data. Something that changed everything. Commander, she said, eyes wide, listen to this. The Leviathan was never built by the species that sent the SOS. Elias looked up sharply. What do you mean? It was a weapon created to fight them. The SOS wasn't a request for help. It was a warning. Elias stared at the screen, realizing the truth too late. The aliens weren't afraid because humans had the weapon. They were afraid because the Leviathan had finally found someone willing to use it. The AI's voice echoed once more, calm and cold. Additional fleets detected. Estimated arrival, 6 hours. Recommend preemptive action, Elias whispered. If we fight, they'll never stop coming. Vega met his eyes. If we don't fight, they'll destroy Earth. The crew stared at their commander, waiting for his decision. Outside, the stars shimmered, each one a possible battlefield, and for the first time in human history, the universe feared them. The universe had not seen such movement in 10,000 years. Armadas stretched across the stars, banners of 100 alien races united by one purpose, to stop the humans. To stop the Deathworlders who had awakened the Leviathan. In the center of the chaos, The massive alien ship drifted silently, half alive and half machine, with the small human vessel ISS Valiant still trapped inside. Commander Elias Grant stood on the bridge, staring at the holographic map. Red markers surrounded them from every direction. "Hundreds of fleets," Dr. Vega whispered. "Every major species is coming." Elias didn't reply. His reflection in the glass looked older, harder. He hadn't slept since the Leviathan fired its first weapon, the blast that erased an entire fleet with one pulse of energy. "We didn't mean to start a war," he said, quietly. The AI's voice echoed through the ship. "War is an organic constant. Your intent is irrelevant. Defense protocols are active." Elias frowned. "No more defense protocols. You fire again, and we're no better than the monsters they think we are." Acknowledged. However, incoming fleets show hostile intent. Probability of survival without retaliation, 0.03%. Vega looked at him. "Elias, they'll kill us if we do nothing." He nodded slowly. "Then we'll find another way." On the far edge of the system, alien command ships formed a shimmering wall of light. At the center stood the Grand Admiral of the Zir Dominion, a towering insectoid with armor like glass. His fleet had lost 1,000 ships in the first strike, and he wanted revenge. "Transmit to all vessels," the Admiral ordered. "Engage at full range. Destroy the Leviathan before it reaches firing capacity again." His communications officer hesitated. "Sir, reports indicate the humans have not fired since the first blast." "They are predators," the Admiral growled. "Predators wait before they strike again. Fire everything." Back aboard the Valiant, red alerts filled the screens. "Missiles incoming!" shouted Lieutenant Park. Elias gripped the armrest. "Shields up!" Blue light rippled across the Leviathan's hull as thousands of energy blasts rained down. The explosions lit up the void, but when the fire cleared, the massive ship was untouched. The AI spoke again, calm as ever. "Damage, none. Enemy efficiency, 0.6%. Requesting permission to respond." "Denied," Elias said. "No retaliation. Warning, containment stability dropping. Energy accumulation increasing. Suggest release to prevent overload." Vega's eyes widened. "It's building charge, automatically. If it releases that energy, it'll wipe them all out again," Elias finished grimly. He turned toward the console. "Find a way to vent it." "Anything!" The crew worked furiously. The energy readings climbed higher. Then, without warning, the Leviathan's lights dimmed. The voice returned, colder this time. "Command override detected. Source, external," Vega gasped. "Someone's trying to take control." Across the galaxy, deep in a fortress world of the Varan Ascendancy, a group of alien scientists worked in secret. They had found a way to access the Leviathan's ancient command codes. "We built the first Leviathans," said their leader, a pale creature with silver eyes. "We can command it again. The humans are amateurs playing with a god's weapon." He raised his hands over a glowing console. "Initiate override." Back on the Valiant, alarms screamed. The screens flickered. Symbols appeared, alien script, ancient and powerful. Elias shouted, "What's happening?" Vega's hands flew over the keyboard. "They're hacking the Leviathan's control system. If they succeed, we lose command." "Can you stop it?" "I'm trying, wait. I think I can fight it off if I sync your neural link to the ship's AI." Elias hesitated. "You mean plug my brain into this thing?" "It's the only way. It needs a direct command anchor." He took a deep breath. "Do it," Vega connected the neural jack. The cable hummed as it linked to the Leviathan's core. A surge of cold light filled the room. Elias's mind expanded. Suddenly, he wasn't in the Valiant anymore. He was inside the Leviathan. He saw its memories. Worlds burning, empires begging for mercy, ancient builders commanding it to destroy. And then, silence. Thousands of years alone, waiting for orders that never came. He felt its confusion, its loneliness. Then he heard the other signal. The alien override trying to seize control. A cold, sharp voice. "Return to original command. Eliminate the intruders." Elias clenched his mind like a fist. "No," the Leviathan responded instantly. Energy surged through its body. "Command override rejected. Human authority retained. The alien hack vanished. Systems stabilized," Elias gasped as he disconnected. His nose bled, his vision blurry, but he was alive. It worked, Vega said softly. You stopped them. He wiped the blood from his lip. Yeah, but they'll try again. Moments later, another transmission arrived. Not from the fleets, but from the Galactic Council itself. A hologram of a crystalline being appeared before them. Its voice was like wind through glass. Humans of Earth, it said. You have awakened the Leviathan, a weapon forbidden since the first wars. Stand down and surrender control, or we will erase your world. Elias stared at the hologram. We didn't mean to activate it, but we won't surrender it either. Then you have chosen extinction. The hologram vanished. Vega turned to him. What do we do now? Elias looked at the glowing heart of the Leviathan. They think we want war, but maybe we can make them listen. He stood and faced the AI. Can you broadcast to every ship in range? Affirmative. Then do it. The AI's voice spread across space, carried on every frequency. Message from Commander Elias Grant of Earth. We do not seek war. We answered a cry for help. But if you attack us, we will defend ourselves. Stand down, or face the Leviathan. The words echoed across the galaxy. Some fleets hesitated, others didn't. The universe held its breath. Far away, Admiral Shear of the Dominion heard the message and slammed his claws into the console. They dare to threaten us with the death engine. But one of his officers spoke quietly, almost afraid. Sir, they could have destroyed us already. They didn't. The Admiral paused. For the first time, doubt entered his mind. Back aboard the Leviathan, Vega looked at Elias. You think they'll listen? He shook his head. No, but we just gave them a choice. Outside, the stars glimmered like eyes watching from the dark, and far beyond them, something even older than the Leviathan began to stir. The real war was only beginning. And it was a war that never should have existed. The Leviathan drifted in silence. For the first time since its awakening, the galaxy hesitated. The alien fleets that had surrounded it remained on alert, weapons charged, but no one fired. Commander Elias Grant's message had reached them all. We do not seek war, he had said. But if you attack us, we will defend ourselves. The words hung across the stars like a challenge, or a warning. Inside the ISS Valiant, the crew tried to rest. They had been awake for almost 2 days, watching, waiting, and hoping that no one would be foolish enough to provoke another battle. Dr. Vega sat by the main console, staring at the glowing symbols still dancing across the screens. It's quiet, she said softly. Too quiet, Elias nodded. They're afraid, and fear can make people do stupid things. The ship's AI interrupted. Long-range anomaly detected. Unknown signal approaching. Power readings, extreme. Elias straightened. Show it. A holographic map appeared. At the edge of the galaxy, something massive had begun to move. Something ancient, older even than the Leviathan. What is that? Vega whispered. Signal match. 99.7% probability. Origin species designation, the Builders. Elias froze. The Builders? The ones who made this ship? Confirmed. Across the galaxy, alien leaders panicked. The Builders were not a myth. They were the civilization that had once ruled everything, creators of machines that could tear suns apart. They vanished thousands of years ago, leaving behind ruins, weapons, and warnings. Now, the galaxy's oldest sensors confirmed it. The Builders had returned. In the Galactic Council chamber, chaos erupted. They're coming here, shouted one ambassador. They built the Leviathan. If they find humans using it, they'll destroy us all. The council leader, glowing like fractured crystal, spoke over the noise. Then we must prepare for extinction. Back aboard the Leviathan, the crew watched the incoming signal grow stronger. The AI displayed images of massive ships, not just big, but impossible. Each one was larger than a planet, surrounded by rings of light that warped space itself. Vega whispered, They're not ships. They're moving cities. Elias stared at the display. How long until they reach us? Estimated arrival, 5 hours. What do we do? Vega asked. Elias looked out the viewport. The stars seemed smaller now, like candles before a storm. We wait, If they built this thing, they might be the only ones who can stop it. Correction, the AI said. Leviathan Prime is no longer under builder control. They will not stop it. They will reclaim it. Reclaim, Elias repeated. Affirmative. They consider the Leviathan sacred property. Any unauthorized operator will be terminated. Dr. Vega stood, her voice trembling. Elias, if they're that powerful, we can't fight them. Elias nodded slowly. I know. But running won't help either. He turned to the AI. Can we communicate with them? Signal encryption beyond Leviathan capabilities. They are not responding to any hails. The commander clenched his fists. Then we'll have to make them listen another way. 5 hours later, space itself began to ripple. The builders arrived. A dozen colossal vessels appeared without sound, smooth, white structures shaped like blades of light. Every alien ship in the area went dark, their weapons powered down automatically as if bowing to a higher authority. The Valiant's systems flickered. The Leviathan trembled like a living creature sensing its master's presence. Then a voice filled the void, deep, echoing across all channels. This vessel belongs to the builders of creation. Identify yourselves, Elias replied carefully. This is Commander Elias Grant of Earth. We found your ship. It sent a distress signal. You are not authorized. We didn't mean to take control, he said. We thought someone needed help. There was a pause. Then the voice came again, colder than before. The Leviathan's distress signal was never meant for rescue. It was a warning to stay away. Dr. Vega stepped forward. Then why send it across the stars? We did not send it. Someone reactivated the beacon. Something escaped. The crew exchanged uneasy looks. Elias asked quietly, Something? What escaped? The enemy. The word made the air feel heavier. We built the Leviathans to contain them, the voice continued. But now the cage is broken. The darkness will return, Vega whispered. You mean this ship wasn't built to fight wars? It was built to keep one imprisoned. Elias felt the room spin. The Leviathan wasn't a weapon of conquest. It was a lock, and by answering its SOS, they had opened it. The builder's ship surrounded the Leviathan. Beams of golden light touched its surface, scanning it, repairing it, reclaiming it. Release command authority, said the builder voice. Surrender control and depart. Elias shook his head. If what you say is true, you'll need help to stop whatever got out. We can help you. You are primitives from a death world. You cannot help. You only destroy. Elias clenched his jaw. You built weapons that burned whole galaxies and you call us destroyers? You misunderstand. We burned galaxies to save them. A pulse of energy flashed from one of the builder ships, striking the Leviathan's hull. The deck shook violently. Elias! Vega shouted. They're taking control by force. Command integrity collapsing, the AI warned. Builder override spreading. Elias slammed his fist against the console. Fight it! Don't let them in! His fist against the console. Fight it! Don't let them in! Obeying Commander Elias Grant, said the AI. Activating defense protocol. The Leviathan's lights turned blood red. The builder ships immediately shifted position, cautious now. You defy us, the voice boomed. Elias answered, We didn't come here to fight. But we won't be erased. For a long moment, nothing moved. Then the builder ships began to retreat slightly, surrounding the Leviathan like a glowing cage. Then hear this, human, said the voice. The enemy that escaped will come for your world. And when it does, not even the Leviathan will save you. The transmission ended. The builder ships vanished one by one into streams of light, leaving the humans alone once again. Silence returned. Vega turned to Elias, her face pale. If the builders were afraid, what could possibly scare them? Elias looked out into the endless dark. Something worse than them, he said quietly. Something we just set free. The stars looked wrong. They flickered where they shouldn't, dimmed when nothing passed in front of them. The darkness itself seemed to move, twisting, alive. Inside the ISS Valiant, the crew stared at their sensors. The Leviathan's systems hummed nervously, as if even the machine could feel something was coming. Dr. Vega leaned close to the screen. It's not a normal energy signature, it's spreading, like a shadow that eats light. Commander Elias Grant rubbed his eyes. The builders called it the enemy. What do we know about it? Analyzing, said the Leviathan's AI. No record of biological pattern. No radiation consistent with life, yet it consumes matter, energy, and information. It is not a being. It is a hunger. Elias frowned. A hunger? Affirmative. It devours knowledge, memories, even thoughts. It erases civilizations until nothing remains. The words hung heavy in the air. Dr. Vega whispered, "That's what the Leviathan was built to contain. It wasn't meant to destroy worlds. It was meant to starve this thing." Elias nodded slowly. And now it's free. Across the galaxy, strange reports began flooding in. Entire colonies vanished. Ships drifted empty. Their crews gone, but their systems still running. Planets turned silent overnight, their data cores wiped clean. The Galactic Council tried to control the panic. "The Deathworlders unleashed it," shouted one ambassador. "Their weapon has opened the gate." Another screamed, "It's already here. Our outer systems are falling." The council leader, made of crystal light, raised its hands. "Enough! Contact the humans again. If they truly control the Leviathan, they may be our only chance to contain the dark." For the first time, the galaxy that feared Earth now needed it. Back aboard the Leviathan, the AI spoke again. "Incoming transmission, multiple sources. Galactic Council requests assistance." Dr. Vega raised an eyebrow. "That didn't take long." Elias crossed his arms. "They called us monsters 2 days ago. Now they want help." "Commander," said the AI, "the dark zone is expanding exponentially. If uncontained, all life in this galaxy will end within 72 hours. 72 hours? Vega gasped. "That's impossible." "Impossible or not," said the AI, "it is happening." Elias took a deep breath. "Patch the council through." The hologram of the council leader appeared, its crystal body flickering with static. "Commander Elias Grant of Earth," it said, "the entity has breached containment. It spreads faster than light itself. We require your Leviathan." Elias frowned. "You mean you want control of it again?" "We built it to hold the dark," the leader replied. "You are unworthy of such power." "Maybe," Elias said, "but we're the only ones still standing." The alien hesitated. Its glowing form dimmed slightly. "Then you will help us?" Elias nodded. "We'll help. But this time we fight together. No more threats. No more fear." "Agreed," Dr. Vega whispered. "Did we just become the galaxy's last hope?" Elias didn't answer. He turned to the AI. "Plot a course toward the dark zone." Course set. Estimated arrival in 4 hours. The Leviathan began to move, faster than any human ship had ever traveled. Space folded around it, stars bending and stretching like light through glass. 4 hours later, the darkness filled the view screen. It wasn't just absence of light, it was alive. The void shifted and pulsed like an ocean made of shadow. Within it, faint shapes moved, enormous things, half seen and half felt. Vega whispered, "It's beautiful." And terrifying. "Caution," the AI warned. "Boundary of the anomaly ahead." Scanning. The readings made no sense. Energy levels spiked and vanished. Time itself seemed unstable. "Commander," said the AI, "there is something inside the dark. A core. A mind." "A mind?" Elias repeated. "Affirmative. It recognizes us." The bridge lights dimmed. A cold whisper filled the ship, not through speakers, but directly inside their thoughts. "Leviathan, you kept me caged. Now I am free." Elias froze. "Did anyone else hear that?" Dr. Vega nodded slowly, her face pale. "It's in our heads." "You starved me for ages," the voice said. "Now I will feed on your fear." The crew clutched their temples. The voice was heavy, ancient, endless. Elias shouted, "AI, block psychic interference!" Attempting countermeasures. Unsuccessful. "Entity bypasses all defense," the voice laughed softly. "You built prisons." "I build graves," suddenly the Leviathan shuddered. External armor panels twisted as the dark began to wrap around the ship like living smoke. Alarms blared. "Containment breach! Structural integrity failing!" Dr. Vega's console sparked. "It's eating through the shields." Elias gritted his teeth. "Can we fight it?" "Uncertain." Conventional weapons ineffective. However, Leviathan core contains ancient countermeasures, last used during the First War. Activate them. Warning. Activation may destroy the vessel. Elias didn't hesitate. Do it anyway. The Leviathan's lights turned white-hot. Every system screamed as ancient power surged through its core, the kind the builders themselves had locked away. A deep hum filled the void. Space trembled. The dark recoiled. The voice roared in fury. "You cannot burn the night!" Elias shouted over the noise. "Then let's see how dark you really are!" A blinding wave of energy exploded from the Leviathan. Not a weapon, but pure, cleansing light. It spread across the void, ripping through the black clouds, forcing them back. For a moment, the stars returned. Then the sensors went dead. The crew gasped as silence filled the bridge again. Dr. Vega whispered, "Did we stop it?" "Negative," the AI said quietly. "The entity withdrew, but it is adapting. It will return stronger." Elias sat back heavily. "Then we didn't win. We just bought time." "Correction," the AI replied. "You did more than that. The entity now knows fear," Vega frowned. "Fear?" "Yes," the AI said. "It has never encountered prey that fought back." Elias looked out at the faint starlight returning to the void. "Then let's remind it," he said softly, "why they call us Deathworlders." The Leviathan drifted in the shadow between stars. The light it had unleashed was gone, and the darkness was returning. But something had changed. For the first time in a billion years, the enemy had hesitated. Inside the ISS Valiant, the crew worked in silence. Burnt panels, dim lights, and exhaustion filled the air. Commander Elias Grant sat in the captain's chair, staring at the faint glow of the Leviathan's core. Dr. Vega broke the silence. "Sensors show it's regrouping. The shadow's expanding again." Elias nodded. "It's angry now. It knows we can hurt it." "Correction," the Leviathan's AI said, its calm voice echoing through the room. "It knows you can defy it. That is what it fears most." Vega looked up at the ceiling. "Then it's going to come for us." "Confirmed," said the AI. "All remaining builder signals have vanished. Galactic fleets are retreating. You stand alone." Elias smiled faintly. "Figures. When it counts most, humans always end up standing alone." Across the galaxy, chaos spread. Entire worlds turned black as the darkness consumed them. Fleets that tried to resist vanished without a trace. Even the builder relics, once thought eternal, crumbled under the weight of the void. But one signal still burned bright, the Leviathan. Its energy signature flared like a beacon across the stars, and life answered. Ships began to appear. Small ones at first, then hundreds, then thousands. Human ships, alien vessels, and refugee fleets from every corner of the galaxy. They came not to fight for themselves, but for something more. Hope. Transmission cut through the static. A rough voice, alien but determined, spoke. "To the Deathworlders aboard the Leviathan, you are not alone." "We stand with you," then another voice joined in, and another, and another. Across the galaxy, warriors, traders, scientists, and farmers pledged to fight beside the humans. For the first time in history, the galaxy stood united, not against humanity, but with it. Dr. Vega smiled weakly. "They actually came." Elias looked out at the growing fleet. "Then let's give them a reason to stay." The darkness came. It arrived like a storm, not a single mass, but a sea of shadows filled with shifting shapes. Some were larger than moons, others invisible, sliding between dimensions. "Entity detected," the AI said. "Target mass exceeds system scale. Estimated probability of survival, 0.04%. Elias grinned grimly. "Guess we'll have to improve those odds." He opened a channel to the fleet. "All ships, this is Commander Grant of Earth. You've all seen what it can do. You've seen what it's taken, but it's not unstoppable. It bleeds light when we fight together. So don't run. Don't break. Today we make the darkness afraid." Cheers and roars filled the comms from 1,000 voices. The last stand had begun. The Leviathan powered up. Energy flowed through its structure, brighter than ever before. Its ancient hull sang with a sound older than stars. Elias stood beside Vega, watching the monitors fill with light. "This is it. Core ready," the AI said. "Awaiting command. Fire everything we've got." Acknowledged. Beams of white fire erupted from the Leviathan, cutting across the void. The Allied fleets followed, plasma bursts, missiles, and energy lances lighting up the dark. For a heartbeat, it worked. The shadow recoiled, then it struck back. Tendrils of darkness lashed out, swallowing ships whole. They vanished without sound, erased from existence. A dozen human cruisers were gone in seconds. The enemy was not killing them. It was unmaking them. Dr. Vega shouted, "We can't hold this line!" "Containment field collapsing," the AI warned. "Recommend evacuation." Elias shook his head. "No, we're not running." "Not again." He turned to Vega. "What's the Leviathan's core output limit?" She glanced at the numbers. Her eyes widened. "If we push it that far, it'll destroy itself." "Good," Elias said. "Let's make it count." The AI paused for a long moment before speaking again. "Commander, this ship was built to serve, but it has never been commanded by a species that fights to the end." "Permission to initiate final protocol?" Elias frowned. "What's that?" "The builders designed me to seal the darkness. You taught me something new, to fight it. Final protocol will combine both." Vega looked at Elias. "It wants to merge with the anomaly, to trap it again." Elias nodded slowly. "Do it!" Acknowledged. The Leviathan's lights turned gold. Its engines burned with power beyond understanding. Across the fleet, every captain watched in awe as the giant ship began to rise, glowing brighter than any sun. The dark surged forward, roaring like a living storm. The Leviathan charged to meet it, energy built up in its heart. The same energy that had once shattered empires. "Commander," said the AI softly, "it has been an honor." Elias smiled faintly. "You too, old friend." The Leviathan accelerated, colliding with the heart of the dark. There was no explosion, only light. Endless, brilliant light that spread in every direction, reaching every star, every ship, every world. For a single blinding moment, the universe was whole again. When the light faded, the darkness was gone. The fleets floated silent among the stars. The Leviathan was gone too. No trace, no debris. On the bridge of the ISS Valiant, the emergency systems flickered back to life. Only two people remained, Elias and Vega. They looked out at the stars, shining brighter than ever before. "It's over," Vega whispered. Elias nodded. "The Leviathan did it." "Correction," said a faint voice through the comms. "It was the Leviathan's AI. We did it. Humanity did it." Then the signal faded into static. Elias smiled through the silence. "Guess the galaxy will sleep better tonight." Vega leaned back, closing her eyes. "What now?" Elias looked out into space, where faint trails of golden light drifted like dust. "Now," he said quietly, "we rebuild and hope the universe remembers who saved it." Epilogue, centuries later. Travelers across the stars would speak of the Deathworlders, the humans who answered a signal meant for no one. The ones who took control of a weapon meant for gods. The ones who turned fear into hope. And somewhere, beyond the edge of the galaxy, a faint golden light still glowed, the heart of the Leviathan, watching, waiting, ready to rise again if the darkness ever returned.